I'm hopeful that Todd Monken is being authentic with Shedeur. Like, hey, I believe in you, young man. Let's go. Let's get together. Let's get out on the practice field and go to work.
Like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Look like he likes Shedeur. I think he likes Shedeur. I don't think they would have brought him in if he didn't have a good plan for Shedeur. So I like him being paired with Shedeur.
Skip Bayless just said out loud what most people have been afraid to touch. According to him, Todd Monken might be the perfect coach for Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland. And if that's true, it changes the entire direction of the Browns. The real question now is simple. Is Todd Monken actually the right fit for Shedeur? Drop your thoughts in the comments. In a league full of scripted answers and surface-level optimism, real honesty stands out. And that's why this potential pairing feels dangerous in the best possible way. It already separates itself from the long list of failed quarterback-coach relationships Cleveland has suffered through. Through all the criticism, negativity, and non-stop doubt surrounding Shedeur, this situation signals something different: belief. And belief is a powerful thing. This isn't about hype or marketing. It's about trust. When a young quarterback truly feels supported, everything accelerates. Cleveland has ruined quarterbacks before by forcing rigid systems on them. This time, it looks like the offense may actually be shaped around the quarterback instead. That should worry the rest of the league. Teams don't make moves like this casually. They don't risk their future on vibes alone. If Shedeur wasn't central to the vision, none of this would be happening. That's the part people avoid saying. While critics frame this as an experiment, the reality is far more threatening. Monken has a proven history of turning lifeless offenses into explosive ones. Pairing that mind with a quarterback who thrives under pressure is reckless only for opposing defenses. Once you see the fit, you can't ignore it. Shedeur is being trusted with real responsibility. Despite constant attempts to minimize his ability, this looks intentional, not accidental. And if it works, a lot of old narratives are going to look embarrassing. This is where things get uncomfortable for skeptics. While they argue about ego, attitude, or media noise, real football minds are focused on fit and upside. Todd Monken didn't survive at the top level by being soft or clueless. He lasts because he's demanding, sharp, and honest. And that's exactly what Shedeur responds to. The uncomfortable truth is this pairing could expose how badly Cleveland mismanaged quarterbacks in the past. And when it clicks, it won't be quiet. The shift will be fast, loud, and humiliating for critics. When the momentum swings, this moment will be remembered as the warning everyone ignored. Cleveland didn't fall into Shedeur by accident. He chose this pressure, this team, and this spotlight. And what comes next explains why that choice still makes people uneasy.
Ozzie called Dion, obviously Shedeur's father, and said, we're thinking about this. Will this work for you guys? And Dion said, no, because Shedeur wants to go someplace where he'll have a shot. And Lamar's just too good, man. I mean, he's going to be perennial Pro Bowler for the next, 10, 12 years. And Shedeur doesn't want to be stuck behind that. And as it turned out, Tyler Huntley was pretty good as their backup, wasn't he? So it was a bad fit for Shedeur. Shedeur made the right choice because, my God, he did get his shot, right? He got to start 7 games when I was pretty sure at the first of the year he'd start no games. Mm-hmm. And not only did he start the 7, but he showed me a lot. Maybe he didn't show others. I think he showed you a lot, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Right?
Skip Bayless isn't just throwing out hot takes here. He's pointing directly at something many people refuse to acknowledge. Shedeur wasn't a late-round afterthought or a lucky backup situation. He made a strategic decision that highlights how broken NFL development really is. While others trusted the system and waited behind established stars, Shedeur demanded a real opportunity to play. That takes confidence and courage. Choosing Cleveland instead of sitting behind quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson was a direct challenge to the league's wait-your-turn culture. Shedeur isn't waiting. He's redefining patience. Anyone who doesn't see that is stuck in outdated thinking. Todd Monken's role is the quiet weapon here. Skip's cautious confidence in Monken's honesty hints at something deeper than play design. This is about rebuilding trust where it never existed. The NFL loves flashy coaching hires, but few actually commit to young quarterbacks the way Monken appears ready to. Cleveland's past coaches played it safe, leaned on veterans, and crushed momentum. Monken is doing the opposite. He's stepping into pressure and betting on a young quarterback to win. That's bold. That's disruptive. And that's exactly what Cleveland needs if it wants to stop being a punchline. This isn't a gamble. It's a declaration. And here's the uncomfortable reality. Shedeur's rise threatens the old-school way of thinking across football. Critics dismiss his flashes as hype, but Skip's breakdown tells a different story. Starting 7 games when nobody expected him to start one isn't random. It's proof Cleveland finally found a quarterback hungry enough to break through and a coach willing to fuel it. The chemistry between Shedeur and Monken isn't optional. It's survival. Yet despite all the evidence, doubters remain loud, clinging to tired narratives. That resistance is exactly what makes this moment explosive. Because when Shedeur and Monken prove them wrong, it's going to hurt. And it will be impossible to ignore. Todd Monken's impact goes far beyond headlines. A truth bomb just dropped about what he actually brings to the table. And it's exactly what Shedeur needs to shock the league.
Tailback coming in, who thought he would do better than he did in Tennessee? I mean, they rush it for 4,000 yards and passing for, the most yards in the league. And then, going to Georgia, winning back-to-back national championships was crazy. Even when he was his first stint in Cleveland.
Yep.
What he did with that offense, right?
Yeah,
you could argue he was the reason for Stefanski getting coach of the year.
Freddie Kitchens called
right?
plays. But your offense coordinator is still heavily involved in game planning.
He's putting everything together. Yeah. If it's the Legos, he's stacking it. He may not be getting the credit for the end point, but he had a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
So I think it's an A. I think Shedeur is going to benefit greatly from Monken.
Todd Monken is the type of coach Cleveland needed, but never had under Kevin Stefanski. This isn't about being friendly or low energy. Monken brings toughness mixed with understanding, the kind that elevates young stars like Shedeur. Stefanski's era was defined by slow, predictable football. The offense felt lifeless, and Shedeur never had the freedom to show who he really was. The playbook felt safe, but suffocating. Monken is the complete opposite. He builds confidence without coddling. That means Shedeur isn't just another player. He's the centerpiece. A coach who actually believes in his quarterback instead of limiting him is invaluable. Shedeur is hungry, intelligent, and ready to explode if given the chance. But hunger alone doesn't win games. It needs leadership, structure, and courage. Monken checks every box. He's succeeded everywhere, from record-breaking NFL offenses to dominant college teams. His balance between run and pass shows a deep understanding of the game. That balance is critical for Shedeur, who isn't just a runner or a passer. He's both. Under Monken, the offense will finally reflect Shedeur's strengths instead of forcing him into a mold. The energy shift is obvious. Cleveland is done playing it safe. This is about challenging old habits and proving they can matter again. Let's be honest. Stefanski's tenure was a mistake Cleveland is desperate to move past. He played not to lose. Monken plays to win. That difference matters. Stefanski protected his job. Monken builds futures. That mindset is everything for a young quarterback. With Monken, there's no tiptoeing, no excuses, no predictability. Shedeur is about to thrive because this isn't just play calling. It's legacy building. And if you think this will be slow, you're mistaken.
Thing I'll say is with the quarterback situation, as a head coach, with Monken too, being around a lot of offenses, when you go to a team, the most important thing really is the quarterback. You got to have a quarterback to be successful. After Fernando Mendoza in this draft, since Dante Moore's not coming out, I wouldn't say there's a first-round quarterback that could come in and make an impact right away.
Yeah.
And then when you look at free agency too with the Browns, they're 27th in salary cap space, and there's never a guarantee anyways if there's a guy that you want in free agency at quarterback. So he looked at this roster and said, I can win with these guys, which is a confidence boost for Shedeur Sanders. And it's also a confidence boost with Deshaun Watson, depending on what they do with them in that competition. But I love that video. Him talking to Shedeur saying, I finally got you. I've been in that position before as a young quarterback with a new coach, and to have a coach come in and have that confidence in you, that gives you a lot of optimism going into the offseason.
This is the moment Shedeur has been waiting for. A coach who doesn't force him to bend, but instead reshapes the offense around him. Todd Monken isn't rigid or outdated. He's elite at adapting schemes to unlock quarterback strengths. That's why Shedeur's future just shifted from uncertain to dangerous. Forget the voices saying he needed to fit a mold. Monken's offense creates new ones. That flexibility is rare and lethal. It allows Shedeur to play freely, without hesitation. This partnership changes everything, not just for Shedeur, but for a Browns franchise desperate for identity. Monken's history with vastly different quarterbacks proves one thing. He wins with what he has. Success with both Stetson Bennett and Lamar Jackson shows his adaptability. He doesn't chase trends. He builds systems. His belief in Shedeur sends a clear message. Cleveland isn't begging for help. They're building something real. Cap limitations don't scare this coach. He's saying, give me Shedeur and let me work. That's not hope. That's confidence. The critics can keep talking, but the truth is clear. Shedeur finally has a coach who understands him. A coach who builds belief, not excuses. This isn't a rebuild. It's the start of a new era. The days of dull, predictable offenses are over. Shedeur and Monken are about to show that trust and flexibility beat fear every time. If you're not excited, you're not paying attention. And when this duo lights up the league, the critics will have nowhere to hide. This isn't just football. It's a shift. And Shedeur just found the right leader to make it happen.